the Spurs are all about the wins, but how are they going to get it? And what about them being the defensive menace?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Emily Swallow, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs digital beat writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Ready to go. Your work week started strong right here on Locked On Spurs. You guys are the best. You guys are the everydayers. We appreciate you subscribing to Locked On Spurs on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. The list goes on and on. KENS 5 Plus app. As always, we appreciate you. So what are we talking about today? All about the wins. If you remember on Media Day, what was one of the biggest common threads that every player, Coach Pop, was talking about? Even Doug McDermott on Locked On Spurs. What do you have to say? All about the wins. It was development was last year. Now it's about the W's. But how are they going to get the W's? What is it going to take for this team to rack them up? Is it on the defensive side? Is it some luck? John Morant not playing for Memphis for a while. What will it take for them to accomplish that goal? And speaking of defense, how are they going to become a defensive nightmare? On paper, it looks like they can be, just the length alone. But will it take more than just defense? Is that going to be their bread and butter next season? And then we're going to get to know more about our guest, Mike Taylor from the Mike Taylor Live podcast show. He'll be on just momentarily, and we'll discuss all that and more right here on Locked On Spurs. But hey, did you go to the scrimmage this past weekend? Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great to see the guys in action? Didn't you feel that vibe, that electricity throughout the Frost Bank Center? I'm going to have to get really attention to that, not the AT&T Center anymore, but the Frost Bank Center. And just feeling like a different era in Spurs basketball is finally here. We're done with the Big Three era. We're done with that bridge, with LaMarcus and moving to Kawhi and DeMar. Those phases of this franchise are done. They're in the books now. It's now these kids' turn. It's Wemby, it's Devin, it's Keldon, it's Sohan, it's Trey. The list goes on and on and on. It's their time to forge their chapter in this history. But in this new chapter, you, me, maybe Mike Taylor, we'll see what he has to say about this, are going to have to exercise some patience. Rome wasn't built overnight. Maybe a little bit for the Big Three era. Timmy came into pretty much a ready-made system, but this is not the situation for Wemby. He's not coming into a ready-made system. These guys just came off their development season. Now they're going to develop, hopefully, into a team that wins, and that means you are going to have to just realize that you're going to have to give them time. You're probably going to cry. You're probably going to throw flipping tables across the hall, perhaps the beginning of the season. But in time, I think this team will become a very solid team in the West and propel them, especially next season. Let's not forget, Wemby's a teenager. He's a teenager. Yeah, he carries himself well. He speaks well. But at the end of the day, he's still a kid. Same thing for most of these guys on the roster. Some of them are in their early 20s. Some of them are still not old enough to drink, but yet they're playing in a professional level and they're going to excel soon. Maybe not first week, maybe not month 1, month 2, but perhaps sooner than later, this team will get going. So sure, we're going to be talking about wins in just a bit, but just brace yourself for some losses, maybe to start the season, and just keep your eye on that tunnel because that light is shining bright. You see it, I see it. I'm pretty sure Mike Taylor sees it. We're going to be discussing that right now. Let's go to bring in our guest. He is Mike Taylor from the Mike Taylor Live podcast. There he is. There's the man. Mike Taylor, how you doing?
I'm good. I decided to go with a rando motel motif for my day. Yes.
I warned Mike ahead of the recording here. I said, look, Mike, please forgive the nerd out that I'm having behind me. I'm coming off hosting the Big Con in Texas. Hence all this.
It's all good. I won't make any jokes about you people.
Yes. I've listened to your show. You're a very non-nerd guy. Yeah. I haven't grown up yet, apparently, Mike. Apparently, I haven't grown up yet.
Used for hosting Comic-Con then. No, I thought you were 38.
No. I wish I was 38, man. I wish I was still that young. But I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're traveling right now. You're in Dallas. We'll make this short and sweet so you get back to your
good, bro.
time away.
I'm an hour in this hotel before I get kicked out, so it's okay.
All right. Hey, Mike, let's go ahead and dive into this. We're going to get to know more about you later on the show, but let's talk some silver and black right now. All about the wins, right? That was a common thread to start media day. Pop was saying it. You had a chat with Trey Jones that people could listen to at the Mike Taylor Live podcast, and he was about the wins. We heard that. But, Mike, how they're going to do that? What needs to happen for them to accomplish that?
Well, patience, as you said, and not want to jump off a building on a night where they get whooped and Wemby goes 1 for 10 from the floor and struggles and fouls out, and then not to go. I mean, have a good time, but when they beat people, just enjoy this ride. You know, I'm so happy. We're so lucky to have this kid in here. Obviously, everybody knows that. I thought we were going to be in for a decade of sucking, you know, and then obviously we got lucky and we got Wembanyama in here. But now, okay, cool. We've got this beautiful toy. Like you said at the start of the show, I was listening. It's going to take this is a year of I don't know. I think you're about to ask me how many wins I think they're going to have, and they have no idea how good they're going to be. I do know they're going to be better, not just because of this kid. I think that Pop's going to be better. I think that everybody on the team is jazzed. I think there's a new energy about the boys, and everybody's just developed another year, and guys are healthier, and guys know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't care who you are, the difference between losing and winning on that level, when you're in the NBA, I mean, it's minuscule, the difference between being a good team and a bad team. And I just really think that locker room vibe is a big deal. And I was at media day, and you could just, even though it was the last day in that old barn that they moved out of down in the Med Center, everyone was peppy. You could just tell. You know? Guys are excited. Guys want to be good because they also know that I better show the Spurs that I can be a Wembanyama type player. I can play with him, or I'm not going to be here. So if you want to enjoy the ride and be a Spur for a long time, you got to show out this year. So I'm pretty optimistic, man. Honestly, I'm not sure if I answered your question.
You did.
It feels there's a real good feeling. Not to get all sports psychiatrist on you, just we're all excited, but they are too, and I think that means a lot, man.
Yeah, you were there at media day. You felt that vibe. It was a very confident vibe. Last year, Popovich was all Mr. Jokey. Don't go bet on us on Vegas. We're not winning the championship. Ha, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh. He was a little bit more on the serious side, a little bit more, okay, that season's over. It's about learning these guys picking up W's now. I think a lot is going to have to happen on obviously the development of Wemby, just how fast he gets going. You know, if he's ready to go after month 3, and great, you know, fine, let the wins start coming. But I think it's going to hinge on Wemby and how Devin Vassell and those guys that were the face of the franchise. Remember, Keldon was the face of the franchise for about a year. How are they going to adjust to not being in that role? I think they'll be fine with it. I think that's cool. But I think that meshing of, I mean, I don't want to say the new big three, but the top players, how they're going to mesh with him, as you alluded to. But I'm anticipating Vassell to really, really be kind of like that 1B behind Wemby to really help this team get the W's.
How beautiful was it, the timing of his contract? I know when he talked to us at media day, it was not done. He was in a good mood. I'm pretty sure he knew, okay, today's the day. My agent's real close with him. They decide to extend him on media day. That just goes back to this overall psychiatry of the team, because he's a kid that they want here for 10 years. They want him to be a running buddy with Wemby for a long time because he's just really good. And I've loved that dude since they brought him in. He's obviously been in and out of the lineup because of injuries, and he was just a baby when they brought him in. But that dude's ready to take a huge next step. It will be an interesting observation because, first of all, the reason why I concentrate on the mentality so much is because I don't know a lot about basketball. I mean, I know what it looks like when they're playing well. I know what it looks like when they're playing poorly. I'm not about to break down their defensive schemes this year with you. But what I do know about the Spurs as an observer for all these years is that they are so good at they being Pop and his staff. So good at taking care of from the neck up. All the stuff from the neck down, they don't even care about that right now. They've already told Wembanyama, just go out there and play. Just let this go play and get sweaty every night and just get used to banging with guys in the NBA. They're not doing a whole lot of coaching. This is about him fitting in with the group they already have. It's about making him as comfortable as he can be at his age. It's about these other guys that, as you mentioned, and that's the thing I'm most interested in. Guys that have been here a few years, Keldon and Vassell, how they welcome this kid, get used to playing with this kid, how they just have this. It's about building chemistry. It's like doing talk shows. You got to bring good guys in. They may be really good talk show hosts, but then you sit with a dude and it's like, we have no chemistry. Mm-hmm. So you got to make it. You have to adjust to that. But I think that what's going to happen here in the early going, Wemby's probably going to want to defer too much. I guarantee you, Pop's going to have nights with him where, hey, dude, it's okay. Step up and take over the team. Mm-hmm. You don't want to step on toes. I know you're just being a humble guy because you are. And, you walked into a situation with guys that were already here, but this is your team. And maybe it doesn't happen in the first 4 or 5 months of the season, but eventually, maybe even next year, Wembanyama has got to take over the club the way Timmy did those years ago. Because Timmy, like you said, Timmy stepped into a scene full of veterans that were established. And he was like, hey, I just want to fit in. No, dude, you're not here to fit in. You're here to become the man. And Vassell and guys like Keldon, they know that. So it's like bring in the kid, groom the kid, then let him take us over. It's like a band needing a lead singer. You have an established band. Our lead singer quit. Let's bring in a new lead singer. We're going to teach him how to be in our band, get him used to playing with us, and then he needs to take the thing over if we're going to have success. I think that works with Wembanyama, if you agree.
I do agree. Hey, he is Mike Taylor with the Mike Taylor Live podcast show. We're going to get to know him later on this show, but we're going to continue our talk about the silver and black, more on how they're going to get the wins. Are they going to be one of the NBA's defensive menaces? We're going to find that and more right here on Locked On Spurs. But before we continue our chat with Mike Taylor, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Look, you ever get frustrated with purchasing those tickets online, that concert you want to go to, that sporting event you want to go to? Yeah, sometimes that can get a little hairy. Luckily for you, Game Time is here. You shouldn't have to worry where you're buying tickets to your next big event. You want to go to Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and views from your seat, and their best price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. So again, you want those last-minute tickets, you want those flash deals, zone deals, views from the seat in the venue, and more. Download the Game Time app right now. Look, the Spurs are back in action. Preseason right around the corner. The regular season is right in the corner. If you need to find that last-minute ticket to that game you want to go to watch with the WNBA era begin, go to Game Time. All prices shown are up front. Yeah, that's the total cost. So you don't have to worry about hidden fees. You're getting a great deal without those hidden fees, basically. Buy tickets in seconds, even faster with the Game Time app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app right now. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Mike Taylor of the Mike Taylor Live podcast. You want to find that on YouTube, Spotify. He's going to brag about that and more, and a little bit about getting to know him in just a few seconds. By the way, Mike, are you taking the over and under in Vegas? They got the Spurs at 28.5 wins. You taking the over?
Absolutely the over. Trying to remove all my homer, trying to forget that I've got Spurs shirts in my closet.
Right.
And my buddy invited me to a game the other night. He's going to buy me tickets. We're going to go watch. Trying to get all my fandom out of the way.
Yeah.
They're going to be so much better. Now, okay, I'm not saying they're going to win 50 games.
No.
They ain't winning 28. I bet you they get up 35, 36. Okay, so that's not a ton more. I think they have I think everybody, obviously, if key guys stay healthy, and that's always right. Stay healthy. If everybody on this group's healthy, and everything works the way they want it to work, with the expectations being realistic for Wembanyama in year one, there's no reason to think that they cannot get their act together in the second half, find a groove, find some chemistry, and challenge for a play-in spot. I've hated the play-in spot. I thought it was I hate the play-in spot, but it might be this year. I might like it because it might involve San Antonio.
Yeah.
I think that they should challenge for the 10 or the 9 seed. I really do. Because not just because Wembanyama, I just think with the way he's going to fit in with the other guys who they've got talented guys on this team. I guarantee you there are guys on that team that are a hell of a lot better individually at defense than they should. And collectively, this is a hell of a lot better defensive team this year than it was last year. Can't get any worse. They were the worst.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, not that I would ever accuse anybody of tanking. Not that they did not try to win every game. There's no way Greg Popovich instilled all of his defensive principles last year.
No
There's no way. Yes, they were poor on defense, and a lot of it was just guys that weren't playing good defense. This thing is, I can guarantee you, this training camp is going to be brutal. And even when he finally got chewed out by Pop, he's been waiting on the Pop chew out session, and it happened. This thing's now going to get coached the way it used to get coached. I'm not saying Pop mailed it in. He's just coached it differently as they've tried to massage their way to the top of the draft. I don't know that Devin Vassell's knee was in this. I don't want to get sued here. And my hunch is, I don't think Devin's knee was as bad as the games he missed. In the middle of a tank job. Take it easy. Let this kid take all the time in the world with his knee. Yes, it was injured, but had they been 58-11, I bet you Vassell's back on the court quicker than he was last.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they milked this thing. My point is, they're about to take off. Now you're going to, Pop's. You were at media day too. Pop just seems a little slower. He's clearly older, a little more mellow. Everything's still up in the head. I bet you we see more. I want some nasty Pop this
for sure
than we've had in the last couple of years. All this, well, they're a bunch of babies, and I'm their grandpa. We just want them to feel comfortable, dude. It's go time. Yeah. It's time to take this group back to that old mentality they used to have when the big three were here. And get this thing rugged, get this thing ready to roll for whoever and even Pop alluded to this the other day, whoever the next guy is, because he can't coach forever. When that guy, whoever that guy or that girl is, this thing is a machine ready to battle for championships. And you don't get there saying, it's okay.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that missed defensive assignment. Yeah. It's balls out on defense this year. I'm not saying they're going to be top 5 in defense, but they are not going to be bottom 5. I think that translates into, to bring it all the way back full circle, I think they're going to win 35, 36, 37 games. I do. I do.
I'm right there with you. I definitely taking the over. I got them high 30s, 37, 38 as well. You're talking about, massaging those lottery odds earlier. I was at Spurs Knicks in MSG. They were taking the Knicks to the wire. I mean, it was a close one. So instead of putting out your veteran players, your Keldons and everything, they put a 19-year-old rookie, Jeremy Sohan, for the inbound play. And oops, oh no, inexperience got him, turnover, Knicks win. So you saw little things like that throughout the season. And look, let me tell you, I still believe that this team, if fully powered last year, I don't think they're 22. I don't think they're 22 win season. I think they're maybe pushing 30 right there.
Yeah.
We were talking about Pop and then media day, and he seems to be a little bit more focused on wins and not saying, they're kids and everything. I think fans should start taking that same approach too. Sure. Keldon's in year 5. He's not a young guy. He's a veteran now by NBA standards. Same thing for Vassell. Same thing for Trey. The list goes on and on. This is a young team, but they're not young by NBA standards. This team already has players that have at least 4 or more years experience. Not even throwing Doug McDermott in the mix, C.D. Osman in the mix. So this team has Zach Collins. I know he was injury plagued, but he has NBA experience. So I think all in all, this team may be young, outside of the NBA world, but in the NBA world, this team has enough experience to make sure to get themselves some extra wins. And not to mention too, the division itself. Just the Southwest Division. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think it's the weakest division in the league. You have Houston that is still trying to find their way. You got Memphis with the knucklehead John Moran. He's not going to play for a third of the season. Is the Doncic and Kyrie Irving mesh work out for a full season? And then you got Zion Williamson. Did you remember him? He used to play in the league, Mike. I don't know if you remember him.
Fat guy, right? Fat kid. Yeah.
So the Spurs can have a little luck on their side to maybe get some wins, some extra wins on the side. Hey, but you mentioned it right now, defense.
Yeah.
You got them at what do you got them? A top 10 or top 15 defensive team? Just Wemby alone.
Let's go with top. Let's see if we can't get to 15. Let's see if we can't get middle of the pack.
Okay.
After last year, I'll take middle of the pack defense.
Yeah.
For sure. It's going to take a while. You know what else? I'll add this too. Those kids on that roster that have been here the last couple of years, they're not stupid. They know what the Spurs have been up to. They are sick of losing. They're ready to win. They don't want to go through a bunch of losing either. And back to my man Devin Vassell, he got into it a little bit this year on his Twitter, on his Instagram account, right, with fans, which I think is silly, but whatever. He's a kid. So he's on Instagram and he's getting pissed off because people are like, "Hey, why'd y'all win last night? You're not supposed to be winning." He's like, "Dude, I ain't out there trying to lose no games." And so going into this year with that good vibe that they have now and this new confidence, and getting coached up more or getting coached differently than they have, and they want to win 40 games. They ain't trying to go out there, well, we're developing the new kid and it takes patience. These are professional athletes that did not ascend to this position in life by being passive. They're ready to take off too. So I just think all that with the organization managing the roster more like a business, a ruthless business rather than a boys' camp. With these kids now getting tired of losing, with this kid they just drafted here. And then who else they'll have a lot more money to spend next year again, certainly. And who knows what lies ahead with trades and such, because it doesn't matter who you are. Again, if we're sitting here in 5-6 months and you are on this team and you're getting minutes and you're not meshing the way they want you to mesh with that giant kid from France, you're going to be out of here.
Yeah.
So this team, I think it's time to get more, like I said, it's time to get more serious.
Yeah.
It's been a camp. It's been a 2-year training camp.
Absolutely.
Camp's over, and they all know. And so I think just by that, back to that mentality that I don't want to overrate the mentality. At the end of the day, it's still about who can put the ball in the basket better. They're tired of losing, and they're going to go balls out to win every single night. I think I can say that on Ken's. The analogy, but I'm excited, dude. So, but that being said, I want to temper it. I want to put ceilings on this thing too. There's also ceilings, and I don't want to get unrealistic here. You told me they're going to win 38 games and be the 10 seed and be 15th in the league in defense. Awesome. I'm re-upping tickets.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And, even if they do make the play-in tourney, I would not be surprised if that's kind of like their path to that 8th or 7th seed. I can see this team upsetting a team in a play-in tournament scenario. Sleeping on this young team. It's women, it's young kids. What do they got? And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think they're going to solidify themselves if they do challenge for a playoff spot. I don't think they'll get a 1 through 6 solid set position. But for them to kind of sneak in through the play-in tournament for a 7th or 8th, I personally would not be surprised if that happens. And, just to put a wrap on the defensive menace kind of segment here, just Wemby alone obviously is going to up their defense, just his presence alone and the gravity he's going to create and the matchup nightmares he's going to cause. But we're just not even talking about the fact that Pop returned with a new contract. You got Zach Collins and Keldon Johnson who said they're ready to strap if things get testy. And the teams are testing Wemby beyond, what's normal and pushing the envelope with him. Your guy, Trey Jones, I think he's a pesky perimeter defender. Devin Vassell, just the length alone, Mike, could cause some defensive matchups. I got them in the top 15. I would love top 10, but I think that's just too much of a big jump.
Yeah, it's in the old days when they were in the prime of the big three. It was like, okay, we're talking about winning the title. It was championship or bust. We're not there yet, obviously. So it's like I'm getting Jazz for playing talk.
Yeah.
What 7 last year might go to the 9 seed and give us a chance to move into the playoffs, but that's okay. It's fun again, and it's okay. Like you were talking, and I was thinking about Portland. They're in full tank mode now. I mean, they trade Dame. They bring in Drew Holiday and turn around and move him. They're not going to be standing in our way. Portland's going to go to the bottom of the standings. A team that usually is around 6, 7, 8, 9. That they will not be there. Maybe Memphis, the bottom falls out on them because that idiot kid, John Morant, is going to throw his career away, I guess. So these are good things. It'll allow the San Antonio Spurs to challenge for that 9-10 seed. And yes, and this goes back to Pop being able to coach the way he wants to or the way he did in the past, it's not all just about massaging mentalities and getting guys to fit in. It's also about basketball. I think you're going to see Greg Popovich get back to being the coach, the X's and O's type guru that we're used to him being. And he's got 6 months. In 6 months, if they're in contention for one of those last spots, there's going to be nights where, wow, Pop drew up a great play. He found a great mismatch. Oh, my gosh, Wembanyama's going to be the inbound guy. No one's ever going to be able to block. This goofy stuff that goes on because of who they are, what they have on the floor, but also because of what that bench is going to be calling. I think we're entering a really fun phase, man, because it's not championship or bust. It's just let's get 8 wins better this year, and that's awesome. We're not going to put banners up if they finish in 8th. That's we get that, but it's just fun again. It's going to be fun to go 500. That's how this thing bottomed out the last couple of years.
Yeah.
If they go from what they were last year to even close to 500 this year, gosh, we're not going to go honking on Commerce.
No,
but I mean. Somebody on the west side might fire a bullet in the sky though if they go 500. I mean, it's been so awful these years, and thank gosh the process didn't last as long as what it did in Philadelphia or somewhere.
Exactly. And the guys, they're aware of it. They are aware that defense was their biggest issue. Devin Vassell nailed it when he said like that was the big issue in the room. Nobody was talking about. So defense was just atrocious last year. But hey, we're not done talking. When we get back, we're going to get to know Mike Taylor. What is he up to now? How can we listen to his show and much, much more right here on Locked On Spurs? Hey, I want to talk to you about Jace Medical. You got to get Jace Medical right now. The Jace case, got to get it. Provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes with the Jace case is you just fill out a simple online form and in some cases jump on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians. Get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions. Doctor created, doctor recommended. Don't be caught unprepared. Everybody should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. Jace handles everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Look, I got my Jace case. I looked it over. Simple, easy to use instructions. Comes in a nice case, small, it's compact, won't take up a lot of cabinet space or wherever you store it. And it's just peace of mind knowing that I got something there for an emergency. Look, with so many things going on right now, storms, shortages, pandemics, reliance on China, and the supply chain issues, we need to be prepared now more than ever. You'll be glad that you got yourself a Jace case. Once again, it's so simple to get. Fill out an outline form, fill out the form, and then you can get a prescription life-saving medications right to your door. Peace of mind. Jace case also makes sure that you have medication in hand. Get $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using code LOCKEDON at checkout at jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. But before we continue our chat, let's go ahead and talk about Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. You're in San Antonio. That's in the 281-1604 area. You want to go there right now. They're a local proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and they love serving the San Antonio community. They have a great menu of coffee drinks, and not just coffee. They go beyond coffee. You have the Red Bull Lightning Infused series. It's exactly what it sounds like. Just an energy drink that'll power you through your day or give you that pick-me-up that you need to get through your day. They got the Alien. That's in honor of Victor Wembanyama. It's a full can of Red Bull, kiwi, apple, all mixed together, and it tastes delicious. You also have the OG OJ. You're like, what is that? So those of y'all who are back in those 70s, 80 babies, and you want those nostalgia vibes again, it's basically the Orange Julius recreated only at Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. They have another one. If you're a big UTSA fan, big fan of Frank Harris, they have the Sub-Zero. Go there right now, Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Friendly staff. They have dairy alternatives. They have coffee alternatives, as I mentioned. They have donuts, which are a big hit with everybody who goes to Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. They are a must-stop for all people in San Antonio. Open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Monday. You can find them on social media at TikTok, Facebook. I mean, I'm just the amount of places you can find them, Threads, Twitter, the list goes on and on. There's no reason for you to not check out their menu, not go visit them. They are fast, friendly, convenient, everything you want from a coffee spot. Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Over 300 5-star reviews cannot be wrong. So go to Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive if you're in San Antonio, because life is too short for bland coffee. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, and we're going to wrap it up with Mike Taylor. He is our guest today, and Mike Taylor is back. He's back. Well, he's been back. But in case you didn't know where you can find him and continue listening to him, we're going to get to know him right now. He is now hosting the Mike Taylor Live podcast show, Spotify and YouTube. Go check it out right now. Mike, what is going on with your new venture? How can fans still continue to listen to your hot sports take and all your commentary?
Well, Jeff, I don't like talking about myself, sir. Pretty humble. You could end the show now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm on. So Mike Taylor Live is the show I do 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. We run it at 10 live every morning, Monday through Thursday. But honestly, it's a YouTube show based, and it's a Spotify based show. So we try not to keep the topics too topical. We try to keep them a little evergreen, at least for a week or so, because a lot of people go back and watch them after they air. So yeah, I do that 4 days a week. I do a podcast with my girlfriend Nina called Pickles for Dinner that airs tonight. Yeah. And that basically lately has turned into let's reveal all of Taylor's weird bathroom peccadillos and the goofy things he does all day. So if you really wanted to know what it's like to live with me, which might run off half my listeners.
I'm waiting for Nina to just appear on the camera right now because I know she's there just to wave a quick hello or something.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then I don't, dude, I'm just throwing stuff against walls right now, man. Trying to see what sticks. I'm waiting to get bought out like you did. I'm excited about that. So, dude, I'm hustling. It is what it is. I'm 48. In 10 years, when I'm an old man, no one's going to care what I think about anything anymore. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the last chapter of my career, whether it lasts another year or 20. I don't know. I'm just right now in the midst of trying to figure out what that looks like. Hell, I might be working at PetSmart in a couple of months, which would be okay. I'm not too humble to work it. I'm not too unhumble to work in it. But I'm in a wait and see mode and see how things are going to go. Made the decision this year to go off on my own, and I've got a really incredible partner in Lawrence Goins, DJLG, who holds my hand through all this stuff, and knowing how untech savvy I am. Like even this, I never know where to look at you or to look at the green light.
Yeah, I'm looking right at the camera. I am not. Yeah, I'm looking right at my camera.
I look like an idiot because I just look up why is he looking to the side? Because I see you're on the side. Anyway, I'm the world's worst trying to if you're a technical person or a director or a producer, I'm so frustrating to work with. And LG puts up with my butt every day. And there would be my career would be over if it weren't for DJ LG. So he and I are just. We're just trying different projects. We're trying to just put content out there, and I'm honest with my listeners. I'm honest with Thunderdome. I'm repping Thunderdome, by the way, today.
Check out Thunderdome
With my people. I'm like, y'all, if I got paid to talk about, hotel chains, it'd be Mike Taylor's hotel chain talk on YouTube. Right now, it's scary, but it's also fun. In that, I know this is a stupid, long, meandering answer. I pulled the lever on my career this year to see what else might be there. And maybe it fails, and that's okay. But I didn't want to be 60 and have regrets when it came to my career. What if I had gone off on my own? What if I had gotten lucky? What if it had worked out great? You were too scared. So I got out from underneath that comfortable corporate radio bubble this year and became street hustler. And it's worked okay. I'm alive, and we're still eating, Jeff. So it's going okay, and that's a long way to plug the show, and I appreciate you doing that.
You mentioned the show you have with your girlfriend. Help me, Pickles. Yeah, where can people find that show as well?
Oh yeah, well that's on. Well, we run that on a thing called Pub Culture TV. Mm-hmm. There's a guy called Jeff Slaughter. He owns Southtown 101, the really cool bar that Wemby likes to put his hat on at the bar. And hopefully not drink beer, but drink orange juice. or Mudslinger's coffee. But no, it's that place that has the mural with Wemby.
that with the French flag behind them. Yeah.
So Nina and I, we do our show there down at Southtown, and it's once a week, and it's just our lives, whatever's in our head, whatever we see, observations. She's so smart, so crazy talented, and again, that show wouldn't exist without her. Because she's so just creative and holds my hand through that thing. And so that's once a week. It airs Thursday at 7:00 at night, and it's on YouTube. And then we load it to Spotify the next when it's over.
Yeah.
Starting to get all this lingo down.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how on your show at the end, there's that loop of you saying, like, I think I'm getting hang of this YouTube. Like, it just loops.
Yeah. That's LG pulling a drop from me. Yeah.
I also heard that you're doing a new show, 3 Cents.
Well, okay. So on that one, I'm just, that's another one of these. Let's see if it works. You know, I've become I'm very realistic with expectations. I'm superstitious. And so that show got 10,000 views the other day.
Nice.
Wow. But the first one, are there going to be 10,000 more in a month? Oh, okay, cool. Maybe we got something. So that's with longtime comic Cleto Rodriguez, who worked at Channel 4 and WII for a long time, and the great Ernie Zuniga. I revere newsmen. I have a weird reverence for newsmen. And Ernie was a news anchor for so long at Fox 29. And we're 3 dudes that are middle-aged, and maybe it's full-blown, middle-age crisis. I don't know, but we just decided, let's just sit down at a Mexican restaurant and talk and roll on it and see what happens. So we started doing that the other day, and then we're going to do another one, I think, Wednesday. And that's just another side project that I'm happy to be a part of, And so thanks for mentioning that too, man. And that's also it's on YouTube and Spotify, same stuff.
Go check out the Mike Taylor Live podcast show on Spotify and YouTube. That's where I go. I use the YouTube link. I mean, that's easier. I just make it like a floating window.
Yeah.
So it helps me get through my day. Great topics, great sports analysis. The list goes on. And Taylor is right. He's humble. When I met him in person at Media Day, Mike, you were real quick to give out the compliments. And but I appreciate that just for you, your words as well.
Well, I spent 20 years in a radio bubble, and so being out here on my own, I wanted to get to know guys, which is why I had you on my show. I didn't like your stuff or what I did. I wanted to. It was a way to get to know you, and I've reached out to a lot of people in town that are doing podcasts, and I've had different podcasters on. This was a whole new world.
Yeah, it is.
I should have actually been more up to speed on years ago, and I'm so happy to be kind of a player in this, because there's a lot of really hardworking folks in our city that are doing what we're doing, and I mean, putting their livelihoods on the line. I mean, you told me at 30, 10 years ago, you're going to just start your own little YouTube podcast, and I'm going to make money on that. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Well, maybe some are.
Some are. Yep.
I'll look at my kids. I've got 11-year-old twins. And they're on here on YouTube watching YouTube shows. I'm like, oh, what are you watching? And I'll watch it. Oh, okay, that show's kind of dumb. My kid likes it, whatever. Then I look down at the bottom and it says they got 39 million subscribers.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Well, the podcasting has changed the world, and it's changed radio, or it should. Old school radio stations that I used to work for, if they don't start treating their companies like podcasting companies, and start treating their talent like podcasters rather than influencers, rather than just talk show hosts, they're going to die, And so I did not want to wait around for my career to just fizzle out. I needed to do this. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm humble or not, but I just have a respect for guys like you and the folks in town that are busting their blanks to do this gig for a living. It does beat, digging ditches for sure, So I'll wrap all that up by saying, if I were to ever go back to big boy, whatever, corporate terrestrial, pulling that out, but there ain't no way I'll ever give up my podcast, especially with Nina.
For sure.
If you want to hire me, I'm also going to do podcast on the side. And if that's a problem, then that's cool. No problem. I get it. But, this is a world that I've gotten in for good, and
absolutely.
If all of a sudden I get $1 million bank job, okay, maybe I reassess doing podcasts. But it's it's a lot of fun. It's easy. We're in charge of it. My partners, me and LG and me and Nina, everything we do on the show is up to us.
Mm-hmm.
80% of the revenue doesn't get kicked up to people that live in corporate offices, people I'll never even meet, you know? So it's cool being in charge. It's cool being, it requires a lot of hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it requires some motivation. You gotta have some audacity about you. But if you have those things and you're realistic with it, you can make it work if you put the work in. And I've learned that. That's why I respect you guys so much. You do with what you've done at Locked On is badass.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chad. And I look forward to seeing you grow in your new chapter. Hopefully, I'll be able to make another appearance on the Mike Taylor Live podcast.
Oh, dude, all season.
All season, yeah. And I can't wait to get dumped on for my nerdiness. I'm looking forward to that too on your show.
Well, now that I know that you're a weirdo, next time I have you on, we'll call it out.
He is Mike Taylor again with the Mike Taylor Live podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Go right now, subscribe. Do him a favor, kick those numbers up higher, help him out right now at the Mike Taylor Live podcast again on YouTube and on Spotify. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, Ken's 5 TV Plus app, Spotify as well, YouTube as well, iTunes. The list goes on and on. You guys are the everydayers. We'll be back tomorrow with a special guest. We'll have on Locked On Spurs the Spurs Chief Impact Officer, Dr. Kara Allen, excuse me. She is going to pop on, talk about how she is serving the San Antonio community via the Spurs and the impact it's made. So that's going to be a great interview with Dr. Karen. But so for Mike Taylor, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.